Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit of the WoW podcast, Blue Please on CynicalBrit.com. Do you like to hunt for treasure? Well, archaeology may be for you. This is the brand new secondary profession. It just came into the game yesterday. I did want to get this video out yesterday, but archaeology is quite time-consuming, so I wanted to make sure the video was as complete as possible and gave you a proper explanation as to how it works. So, you get these two skills. You get Archaeology, which brings up this menu right here, which will show you a bunch of stuff that you can possibly gather, and you also have a skill called Survey. Now, what you need to do is you need to find these little trowels, or spades, or whatever the hell, on the map. Those represent dig sites that you can go to. You must survey the dig sites in order to find fragments of artifacts, which, when you have enough, you can build into an artifact of some description. So, let's find a dig site, shall we? We'll go and visit it, and I'll show you this in action. What this video is going to be is me going all the way through until I'm able to complete one artifact. Now, bear in mind, of course, I start off at one skill, and like any other secondary profession, there's a lot of skill points together, so the artifacts that I get will start off being absolutely useless, and will get progressively better. The first dig site I went to go to was in the Western Plaguelands, so I teleported over there, flew over, and thought, okay, let's start it off right here. And of course, bear in mind, I had really no idea what I was doing at this point, and once I figure it out, it's quite easy. So, I'm in the dig site area, which you saw with the big red circle, and the red circle indicates the areas in which you can survey, and I'm using the survey skill right there. You saw it popped up some very odd little tool, and I was thinking, what's going on? I have absolutely no idea. Bear in mind, this was done before all of the explanation from Ghostcrawler came in. Now, what it does is it spawns this little surveying tool, and it's also got a little light attached to it. Now, what the light will do is it will indicate how close you are to finding an artifact. And what the telescope will do is it will point you in the direction of where that artifact is. So, in this case, it's pointing that way, and it's red. Now, red means that it's way far away, as you can tell right here. I'm nowhere near. There are two other colours, as you might imagine. One is yellow, which means you're getting closer, and one is green, which generally means it's within about a 40-yard radius of where you are. So let's follow it up right here and avoid the evil bears. Aha! Triggered yellow. Excellent, we're getting close. Now, there are a number of ways in which you can do this. If you so desire, you could fly around the edges of the area and use the tool to triangulate a position. Or alternatively, you can do it the way that I do it, which is you just start and sort of follow it over there. Now, this should be about where we need to be. So it's within a 40-yard radius of where we are. Let's go forward just a little bit. Do we find it? Not quite. Getting there, very close. Yes, indeed, this is some old-style treasure hunting. There we go. We have uncovered a fossil. Now, each of these dig sites has a different kind of artifact. Now, the kind of artifact fragment you get will be determined by what kind of dig site you're at. So here I'm getting fossils. In the troll places, I get troll artifacts, things like that. It's pretty logical. Now, you'll have noticed if you were keen-eyed earlier, when I opened the archaeology book, there were slots for 10 different types. Now, right now, that's what's in the beta, and what Ghostcrawler has said is that archaeology is very much something they can expand on very easily in the future, so there will be different kinds of things available. Now, once I find the next couple of artifact fragments, I will show you the book, and what you will like, if you're into the lore and that kind of thing, is that little fragments of lore will appear in various different parts of this book, and about the item that you are trying to discover. So we've found 2 so far. Each dig site has 3 that you can get. Now, you don't need to worry about competing for dig sites. Everyone gets different ones. For instance, when I first logged in, I took my 83 Total Hobnob and decided I'm going to try it with him. Now, he got a bunch of dig sites around the Ferrolas area, whereas with Total Halibut, I ended up getting stuff in the Western Plaguelands, or some in Stranglethorn, Burning Steppes, all over the place. So, like I say, these are randomly generated, and as far as I can tell, they rotate around. Now, there are no nodes, as you can see here, so if someone else came and started mining and surveying here, it wouldn't make a blind bit of difference. You will always be able to gather 3 sets of artifacts before you exhaust the dig site. So there we go. Those are the 3, and now, if you notice, I will not be able to survey anymore, and the red ring has disappeared around that area, so this is all tapped out. Now, let's have a look at the archaeology book, shall we? You'll see one of the slots is lit up for fossils, and we've gathered 8 parts of a beautifully preserved fern. And you can see there's just a little bit of history there, and that it will be a common item when we are able to put it all together. So we need to gather more pieces in order to do anything there. And we don't have any completed artifacts right now. However, we have gathered a few skill points. As a result, we've actually got 4 out of 75. Now, the next one, I decided to head over to Hinterlands, because there are a number of troll ruins around here. And this, of course, is Jin Thalor. You'll be familiar with this area. I believe they have reduced the level of it slightly. And we can start surveying around here. Now, this is a little bit more of a hostile place to survey. A lot of enemies wandering around. Way more aggressive than the bears. And also, this is all on multiple levels. So it's nice to use your flying mount here to bypass a lot of those restrictions. Now, you can see I'm getting a little bit better with it now. I'm starting to learn the distances and being able to guess more, so I don't have to survey quite as much. So it's around the back of that rock by the looks of it. No, we're actually on the edge of the zone there. We can't quite mine, so try here. Not quite, but very close. Take a couple of steps to the right. And there we go. This time we found a troll artifact. Now, the troll fragments are actually what we're going to create into an item later in this video. Say, archaeology is actually quite time-consuming, as you might imagine. It takes a little bit of time to find everything within the dig site, but doing a full dig doesn't mean you're going to get everything you need to create an artifact. What might happen, indeed, is that if you end up going to a different kind of dig site, you get different kinds of artifact fragments, which don't combine together into what you're currently trying to make. So, say, here, I didn't find any fossils. This is not a fossil site. This is a troll site, and I'm going to find troll artifacts here. It's not 100% clear, but you should be able to tell, based on the name of the dig site and even a very basic level of understanding of the lore, that you need to go to places like graveyards and boneyards and things like that to find fossils. You need to go to troll places to find troll artifacts, etc., etc. So it's not like you're going to run around and end up getting all sorts of different parts that you won't be able to use. You always have a choice as to where you go. There are so many different dig sites available, and it'll always, as far as I can tell, make at least 3 available on each continent at the moment. Alright, so this one's apparently up here. This is repetitive, but it's strangely compelling. I think it harkens back to when you were a kid and you played those sort of treasure hunt games, you know, hotter and colder and that kind of thing. It's a nice, simple mechanic that's pretty entertaining. I think I could foreseeably do this on a regular basis and actually have a little bit of fun with it. Now, we successfully raided this area, so let's have a look at the artifact book to see what we've got. Open up the archaeology page. So we have 9 out of 27 fragments to make a Zandalari voodoo doll. And what you'll also notice is that you have a little bit of history of the trolls there. Ghostcrawler has also said that some of these items will have flavor text, so there's little bits of extra lore you can see. It's kind of neat. It's a good way to deliver bite-sized lore to people that don't actually really care about it, and also give them something in the process. Now, our next location is outside the Sunken Temple. This is called the Pool of Tears, which is what I generally see on the forums every time my name is mentioned. Now, we're going to have a look around here. Oh, this is all the way over there by the looks of it. Interesting. Let's follow it. Just angle it there. And what you'll also notice is that I fixed my race. It was a bug that I was playing an inferior race. That has now been rectified. There we go. Let's try over here, shall we? This one's all the way over there. It's going to take a little bit of work to find it. Now, is it just me, or is this a perfect way to encourage higher levels to go and explore the older zones and see what's actually changed? Because, for me, if I wasn't doing the beta stuff, and let's just say I never got into the beta, I would have probably just got my 80 mage on launch, level them to 85, and then not really given a damn about any of the other zones. I'd have passed through them, maybe, but as a mage, I barely need to do that anyway, so it's not like that's a big issue. This, on the other hand, it does make you go back to these old zones, and you'll see all the new art assets and what's changed, and you might get a little bit more engaged in the zone and the lore of the game. I think that's their plan. It's gotta be. It makes perfect sense. This is an explorer's wet dream, if anything. It's also a all-you-can-eat buffet for lore buffs, and the nice thing is that they've made it so that it's accessible, and it's not dense, it's not impenetrable, and it's not boring for people that don't really care about the lore. I say incentivizing learning the story. That's actually a great idea, honestly. I might even care just a little bit. We'll see. Now, there are no doubt some other questions about archaeology, so let me try and cover that for you. The most important question, I might imagine, would be, what do I get out of all of this? Well, as you'll see at the end, all I end up getting is a grey vendor item, and that's because I'm very low level in terms of archaeology. I haven't even got up to 75 yet. This is the very start of me doing any of this stuff, so it's predictable that the stuff that I come up with will generally be pretty damn useless. However, later on you're going to be getting some higher level artifacts that you can sell for quite a bit of money. So it's going to be a money generating profession. It's stuff that you actually vendor. However, that's not all. You'll also be able to get some blue and epic items at very high levels, or if you're very lucky, which will be vanity items, silly items like music boxes and dancing troll pygmy things, stuff like that. So that's not all, though. Those of you looking for some real utility will also be interested to know that from time to time, you'll actually get a bind-on-account weapon from this. You'll be able to reconstruct an ancient device or weapon of some description, and you'll be able to use it. Now, the level of that will vary. However, since it's BOA, you'll be able to use it for an alt. So, as Ghostcrawler said in a recent FAQ about this, if you get a level 60 axe on your level 80, you can always hand it over to your level 60 alt, or you could just vendor or disenchant it. Remember, hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster shot launcher at your side, kid. Alright, where are we going next? Well, we could go up the Burning Steps. That sounds like a good idea, so let me teleport you there. There we go. Now, the beta's bugging out just a little bit. Sometimes it won't show the radius of the dig site, but I can have a guess. Now, this was called the something or other boneyard. I wonder what that could be. Oh, yes, there we go. There's bones all over the place. I'm a pro-archaeologist. I know exactly what's going on. Oh, maybe not. Now, there are some higher level mobs around here, so some of you might be wondering, well, if I pick this profession up at level 20, is it going to send me to the Burning Steps? I certainly hope not. I don't have a level 20 to test it on yet. I tried to do it on High YouTube, but she's only like level 18 or whatever right now, so there's not a lot I can really do about that. I have to assume that since the dig sites are randomized and are also personal to you, the game is not going to give you a dig site in a level 50 to 60 zone if you're a level 20. So you will be able to level this up as you go. If you're a higher level, on the other hand, it seems like it's going to send you wherever the hell it pleases, and that means you are going to be exploring quite a bit and traveling around an awful lot in order to get what you need. Some people may object to this. Yeah, they might, and some people are going to be very glad of something to do while they aren't raiding or running dungeons or PvPing or anything. At the end of the day, this is an option. It's totally optional. You don't have to have it. More so than any of the other secondary professions, in fact, I think it is one of the least essential you can imagine. It's desirable, but you don't need it. You're not going to take a big hit in terms of your raid effectiveness or how well you PvP if you don't do archaeology. At least not in its current state. You can get these nice weapons and armor, but a lot of them are going to be lower levels, so it's not like you're going to be getting level 85 items as far as I can tell. Although, at the high levels, the really high levels, the Grand Master levels of archaeology, then I suppose maybe you can. Nobody really knows that, because nobody's got that far, and right now in the beta it's quite tricky to get higher than about 250 or so my guildies tell me. What Ghostcrawler also said is that there'd be a Fish Feast style raid buff that you could get, which might be useful, but it's not in the game yet. So, a little bit of utility there. Maybe not as much as cooking and fishing and that kind of thing, but it exists. Alright, so we've got everything here, so let's head on over to Stranglethorn Vale with a new map with the Zul'Gurub in the corner. And yeah, I will show you what they've done to Zul'Gurub in a future video, do not worry. There's actually 3 dig sites here, and as you might imagine, a lot of them are troll-related. That will allow us to finish a troll artifact, and that's quite important, because at least then I can show you the fruits of my labor, which you are probably going to rage about, because, like, what is this? There's nothing here. And this took about maybe 40-45 minutes of traveling around. As a mage, it makes things a lot easier. Mages and possibly shaman as well, with their double hearthstone, have a real advantage in terms of the archaeology profession, just because it involves so much traveling around, and being able to go to a city that fast is advantageous. Okay, there's 3 fragments. Now, you might wonder, what happens if you get too many fragments? Are they wasted? No, they're not. They actually roll onto the next archaeology project you've got. So I actually end up with one more than I need. I create the artifact, and I start with a head start on the next one. So it's all good. If you desire simply to investigate a particular race for lore purposes, then you can do that, as far as I can tell. You just need to make sure you're going to the right dig sites in order to get it. It may be that the ones it gives you at random end up not being the ones that you want, so maybe you can't do that all the time, but you can certainly prioritize dig sites, and there is no penalty for doing so. It's a little bit of choice involved there. Alright, it should be around here somewhere. Ah, there you are. I have to wonder where it was hiding, honestly. It's a nice, flat piece of ground. Do we have enough? Yes, we do. There we go. Let's solve it, shall we? And create ourselves a Zandalari voodoo doll, which is, yes, indeed, a grey. If you have a look at the second tab, you'll then see we've got the Zandalari voodoo doll in there, and it gives you a little bit of lore and says what you've found out about the trolls so far. It's as simple as that. I've got 21 archaeology skill out of that little expedition, so that's not too bad at all. 5 silver sail. Oh, yeah, that's some pro stuff. But yeah, like I said, it does get better as you level up. That's been my look at archaeology, folks. That's basically how it works, and honestly, I think it's a pretty damn entertaining system. It's quite unique, and I'd like to see what they can do in terms of expanding it in the rest of the beta and into Cataclysm itself. It's neat to have, and hopefully a lot of people are going to enjoy it. Always good to get some good old-fashioned treasure hunting going on. It's entertaining. My name's been Totalbiscuit, and that's a photo bombing jolly. I'll see you next time.